and welcome to Make Some Noise. I am Jason J. Rock Houston. My wonderful co-host is Jamie Bostella, huge talent in his own right as a musician, and we have Jamie to thank for our guest tonight, which is Mr. Brian Blush, who many people know as the lead guitarist from the band The Refreshments. He's very active still in music today. We're going to be talking about some of that. So, welcome to the show, Brian, and what's going on with you today?
Hey, man. Very happy to be here. I'm just stoked to be on the program and ready to talk about some music and the past and the future and all of that good stuff.
Okay, like I said, Janie, you're really responsible for our guest tonight. So, you want to share with the viewers, our audience, is there any kind of friendship or how you guys know each other?
Pretty crazy. I met Brian at my own band rehearsal.
Yeah,
It's when I first met you, right? In the
that's
basement.
right.
At
Yeah.
signal practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember coming to see you guys in downtown. I think it was South Bend. I can't remember the name of the venue, but I even sat in with you guys for one song. I think it was what was it? I can't remember, but it was cool as hell, man. You guys were so tight and so polished, man. I was like, and you in particular, man. I remember just being really blown away by your voice and your stage presence. And
Thanks, Brian.
yeah, you bet, man.
And I got to ask you, Jamie, what was that like for you? Obviously, like you share with me, but you were a fan of Brian when he played with the Refreshments. Go from just being a fan of a guy and loving his music to actually meeting him and hanging out and doing a show with him. That's got to be kind of like taking it to the next level, if you will.
Well, at the time, my band was really popular in this area, but you have to know this area. Brian lived here for a minute. He could tell you the area is not real big, you know. So in the music scene, well, a lot of people, Brian, as you know, they hung out the open jam at the Phoenix and stuff, and we got to know each other there too. But I remember when I met Brian, I was like, dude, how do you get there? How do you make it, dude? And I will never forget, dude, you said to me, he says, honestly, dude, I made it when I didn't even try.
Yeah, that's the honest to God truth, man. I had spent years slugging away in different bands, and we were like, we got to get a record deal. We got to get a record deal.
Yeah.
How do we do this? We were doing everything we could to break down the door. And then when the band that I was in for years kind of fell apart, that's when I jumped in with some friends of mine, and we just started playing for the fun of it. Like we had we had no expectations. We're like, let's just do what we want to do. And 6 months later, we had a record deal. I don't know how to explain it. Destiny or just luck. There's probably a little of both.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I got to share with
yeah,
you, Brian. Reason I was thanking Jamie for bringing you on the show is because while he was well aware of you and the Refreshments, when he first brought your name up, hey, I got this Brian Bush wants to come on the show. Never heard of you, so I had to do my homework and research the band. And I'll tell you, after checking the band out, I was like, my immediate response was, "Wow, man, have I been? How the hell did am I so unaware of this band? How the hell did I miss this band that was so great, had such a great sound? It almost seems from what I read up on the band that you guys came as quick as on one hand, people might have thought it was overnight success, but you worked hard all these years, like a lot of musicians, to finally make it." And the rise is just as big as the fall. It almost kind of seemed like.
Yeah, it was. It didn't last an incredibly long time. I mean, we were a band for about, I guess, a total of about 9 years. But the crazy part was that when we first started out, we went from playing in our drummer's basement to opening for some of the more popular bands around the Tempe scene, which was kind of happening. It was sort of known for the Gin Blossoms coming out of here.
Yeah.
But in that era, in the early to mid 90s, there was a stretch called Mill Avenue that had a ton of clubs, and there was live music coming out every night of the week. So it was a really fertile scene. And we jumped in, and we only had a handful of songs when we started playing, but people just really responded well to them. And then we decided to enter. There was a Ticketmaster who was like, at the time was like, musicians hated him because they put the charges on tickets and stuff. But anyway, they had a national band search, unsigned band search. So we entered that, and out of 7,200 bands, we ended up winning the whole damn thing. And that gave us a little stepping stone to do some recording up at Bad Animals in Seattle.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
And we got a week's worth of free recording time up there. We went and did an EP there. And then in that same time frame, we submitted our indie record to a thing called South by Southwest, which is a music and media conference in Austin, Texas. So we go there, and we had a showcase one night at this place called the Steamboat down on 6th Street. And we had to we followed the presidents of the United States of America.
Oh, wow.
Remember those guys, the Peaches and all that? So we had to follow those guys, and they were insanely good. I mean, they only played with, I think the bass player had 2 strings and the guitar player had 4 strings. So a total of 6 strings altogether. But they absolutely smoked the room. So we had to follow those guys. We went on with our A game, and we walked away with a couple of offers from a couple of different labels. And the rest is history.
And do you remember what was the deciding factor and how you guys made the final decision? We're going to sign with this label.
Well, when we had met with a couple of different labels, A&M Records, and then what was the other one? Some Columbia, okay. And then but what really sold us on Mercury Records was the A&R guy. A gentleman by the name of Pete Lubin. Okay. And he was he was like the best friend you ever had, and kind of like a father figure. And he really sold us on the fact that Mercury would get behind us and really push the record. And we believed him, and he was right. Our first record got a ton of push. And we had a couple of videos, 3 videos off of that record, and 2 of them did really well on MTV. So yeah, I mean, it was the bottom line was the A&R guy, Pete Lubin.
Oh wow! I mean, that's what you want in an A&R guy. Now, I'm gonna see if this is true. What I read here, Brian, and see if Jamie knows. I thought this would have been a cool band name. It said you guys had considered naming the band Pop Enema.
Pop Enema was one of them. And I kind of shot that down. I hate to say it, but I was sort of responsible for that, because when we first started rehearsing, I'm like, yeah, this band is kind of like a pop enema. And the guys all laughed and thought it would be funny to name the band that. And I'm like, I don't want a joke name, I mean,
right.
The music was kind of like about having fun, and it wasn't super, we weren't political, or we didn't have any agenda, but I didn't want the name to be a joke, and so the name after that they came up with it was All You Can Eat. And I said no to that one too. I'm like, no freaking way, man. I'm not going for that. So when the Refreshments name came around, I was initially really against that too. But at the time I had some bad habits, and the lead singer got in a mountain bike accident, and the doctor gave him a bottle of Vicodin or something like that. And Roger, the lead singer, said, well, I'll tell you what, man, here's this bottle of pills. I'll buy your vote for the Refreshments. And I said, sold. So that's how they got my vote for the Refreshments.
Hey, take it away, Jay. I'm sure you have some questions you want to ask Brian.
What? I haven't seen you in a long time. What are you doing now, man?
Well, I've been doing a lot of sort of hired gun work for a couple of bands. A really good friend of mine out of Denver, her name's Wendy Clark, and she's got a really great band. And she sent me a copy of her sort of demos and asked if I would, contribute some guitar work. And I said, absolutely, because she's been a lifelong friend. So that was something that I worked on a lot. And that record, I think it just dropped actually. So she sent me some of the final mixes and stuff. And I'm not sure exactly what kind of distribution or where the record's available yet, but the Wendy Clark Band out of Denver, Colorado. So
Right.
I played on that record, and then also here I moved back to Arizona because I've got a lot of connections here and a lot of friends.
Right.
And so I started a band here called Murphy's Outlaw, which was primarily a cover band. We did a lot of like outlaw country, Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, that kind of stuff. But we started to write some original stuff, and it was going along really well. But then I got in this freaking car accident. And I was laid up. I was hurt really bad for quite a while. So that band sort of is on hiatus at the moment. But other than that, I've just been playing and writing on my own.
That's good. That's good. You doing all right health wise then? You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I still have some lingering injuries from that car wreck, man. I mean, it damn near killed me, but my left leg and my left foot is still kind of paralyzed.
Wow.
So I have a hard time walking. I have to walk with a cane or a walker. So that sucks, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm getting better. You know what I mean? I'm getting better every day.
The accident though didn't affect your playing at all, did it?
Like, fortunately, it didn't. It didn't hurt my arms or my hands or anything. The only thing that I have is a bit of a shoulder problem. Like, the way the car hit me, it basically hit me in the driver's side door, and it's kind of crunched my shoulder in, and it popped it out of socket. And they, obviously they got to reset and stuff. But it's still like I have trouble kind of raising my arm above my head. So it's just like, and plus I'm getting old. So, those injuries don't heal like they did when you were in your 20s and stuff. Yeah. But I've got a bunch of stuff, some surgeries and stuff coming up to help with all that stuff.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah, I didn't even know you got in an accident, man. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah. It was brutal, man. It was rough. This kid stole his dad's car. He was drunk.
Wow.
And he ran a red light doing like 50, and I was turning left, like he was coming towards my driver's side door as I was turning left through the intersection, and he just T-boned me, man. And so yeah, I was in the hospital for a while, and luckily I didn't walk away from it, but I'm not, I'm still here and I'm still able to play. And I don't play out live as much as I used to because it's hard for me to haul gear and all that kind of stuff. But I'm still playing every day, still playing and writing. And
be a crazy question, but do you miss playing live? Or
I do miss playing live. I mean, to me, that was the payoff of this whole deal, was getting to play gigs, even when we were signed and on the radio and stuff, the real, icing on the cake was getting to go out live every night and play in front of like rooms full of people that were just, they would sing the lyrics back to us. And it was just an incredible feeling, Yeah. And so, yeah, I miss that for sure.
It's getting harder out there, Brian. The industry's getting tougher as far as playing out. There's a lot of the tribute bands.
I know it is. I know it's getting hard to play out there, and it's a shame because that's really the way people get to love a band, is to see them like right in front of them, Right. And like I said, when I saw Signal, I was just blown away by you guys. I had no idea, like, cause I had heard about you guys, but when I saw you, I'm like, man, this band is smoking, and you were so tight and so polished. And I remember you had that siren going off in that one song, and I mean, it just the
I,
whole place. You just brought the roof down, man. It was awesome. It was
yeah,
really awesome.
good things come to an end, though.
Yeah, yeah, they do. Well, everything does. You know,
You know
nothing
what I'm
lasts
doing?
forever.
I like what
Nothing
I'm
lasts
doing now.
forever.
Honestly, I like what I'm doing now much more. And
Yeah.
I think I've grown since that band a lot.
Well,
Um,
Praise the Fallen is a great band too. I mean, everything that I've heard from you guys is incredibly. The songwriting's great. The playing's incredible. You
Thank you.
know, I even got to join in on one of your songs a little bit, so that
Yeah,
was fun for me. Yeah,
man, you know, the area I live in, uh, how do you measure success? You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
to me, I've been pretty successful considering where I live, you know,
right. Yeah.
graphically, you know. So how's the scene out in Arizona now? Do you know anything about it?
Well, it's a lot different than when the refreshments were around because
Oh, I'm sure.
back in those days there was a lot of buzz about this area. I mean, the Gin Blossoms and the Meat Puppets, they came out of here, and
Yeah.
so there was buzz about especially Tempe, the college area, and there were a lot of clubs to play.
You ever
And
run into,
since
you ever run into George Lynch? He lives out there, I know.
you know, I used to shop at the same place in Scottsdale for my guitars that he did. I never met him personally, but I'm friends with him on Facebook. So, yeah, I mean, Dokken was one of the bands that I grew up listening to. So, and he was such a smoking player. So, yeah, for sure.
We opened for them out in Hobart, Indiana. Lynch,
Oh, no kidding.
yeah,
Wow.
like last year. I think the video's on YouTube or something. Praise the
Wow.
Father.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
That's a good gig right there.
yeah. I've opened for a lot of nationals. You know,
Yeah. I know you have. Yeah.
even
And,
even even since Signal. So you know,
yeah. Yeah. Well, like I said, Praise the Fallen is everything I've heard from you guys has been top notch, man. So the music industry is so different now than
yeah,
when the refreshments were around because it's kind of like a do it yourself thing now. Like YouTube is almost more popular than being on a record label. You
yeah.
know, you get followers and you sort of make it that way. There are still record labels. There are still record labels out there, but it's a whole different environment now. Ever since file sharing came along, you know, where people would
Yeah.
share the music to their friends and stuff. The industry that when the refreshments got signed became like obsolete, you know, and now it's like I said, it's more of a do-it-yourself kind of thing.
How awesome though to be a part of that era though, Brian. You
It
know,
was great. Yeah, we
you
caught
know,
the tail end of it. We were right at the tail end of the era of major labels, so um, it was cool, and it was a badge of honor to say you got signed to a major, you know.
Sure.
And like I said, we didn't even set out with that intention. We really just wanted to play and have fun. And when we let go of all the ideas of getting signed and
yeah.
you know being famous and all that, that's when it happened. So I don't know what advice to give people
That's
anymore, other
Brian.
than
That's what I learned from you. You know,
yeah,
honestly, you know, there was that force in Signal. Those guys were like, "We got to make it. We got to make it. Got to make it."
yeah,
I was the one saying to them, "Dude, if it's meant to be, it will be."
yeah,
So I've
yeah,
always had that attitude, even with my bands now.
yeah,
Something, somehow, some way, things happen strangely, but I've seen it myself, dude. I
yeah.
get it. You know, and I learned that part of that. I learned that from you. You
Yeah.
know,
Well, the one thing that our A&R guy told me when we first got signed, I was still chomping at the bit to be like, you know, on MTV and playing on the, you know, Conan and Letterman and all that stuff. And he sat me down. He goes, you know, Brian, the longer it takes, the longer it lasts.
Yeah,
And when he said that to me, I'm like, what is this bullshit? I'm like, I want to be famous now, you know?
yeah.
But
right?
what I realize as the years have gone on is that the the idea of playing and enjoying it, that's where the longevity comes from, you know.
Yeah.
The industry is very fickle, you know. It's one band this week and another band the next. So you just have to enjoy what you're doing and really enjoy the ride.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
Yeah.
Brian, once I had the opportunity to interview a drummer from Trickster, Mark Scott, and he was telling me, like, he said one week we had a number one song. This is Trickster, had number one song on Dial MTV. By the next
Yeah.
week, they wouldn't play any of our music anymore.
Yeah. That's the nature of that business, man, because there are so many bands waiting in the wings to get those slots, and there's so few slots, even on commercial radio, you know. If you get there, it's incredibly lucky. I mean, it's like winning the lottery, really. But the good bands tend to rise to the top, you know. And if you pursue it in a way where it's not like it doesn't become a job, but you're enjoying it. But you still push and you submit stuff to labels and management companies and things like that. Things tend to work out for people who stay in it for the long run, you know?
Yeah, and I imagine, like, with the Refreshments, I mean, talk about a career highlight as far as, like, I imagine, having your music video played on MTV for the first time, that had to have been a thrill, hearing your song on the radio for the first time.
It was incredible. Yeah, I remember we were on tour in a 15-passenger van driving through Missouri in the middle of the night. And lo and behold, Banditos, our single, came on the radio for the first. That's the first time we heard it on the radio. And then in 6 weeks, it was in the top 20. You know, the song went all the way up to number 9 nationally.
Yeah.
And our video went to number 1 on MTV for the whole summer of 1996. And so we were there in the big time for a little bit, you know. And it was great, you know.
At number 1, I mean, that's not every band can say that, you know.
Yeah.
Billboard chart at number 1. Wow.
Yeah, we had really good luck, and the fans of the band were rabid. And one of the fans ended up being Mike Judge from Beavis and Butthead.
There you go.
And he was starting a new series called King of the Hill.
There you go.
And he asked us if we would submit a song to be the theme song. And we had this little thing. It was an instrumental. And lo and behold, Mike Judge said, yeah, let's do that. So we got the King of the Hill theme song, too. Oh, cool. And that was like, more people recognize me more for that now than than the songs off the Refreshments records.
Yeah, let me ask you, you must be getting some pretty nice royalties from that, because they play a lot of reruns of King of the Hill.
Yeah, it's not a fortune, but it's enough to pay the bills, put it that way. Yeah, we got really lucky with that one. And I still, there's a check laying here on my table right now that I haven't cashed yet. So it was a really good thing. And again, that was kind of almost a joke. We sent him a bunch of bands, you know, big bands tried to get that gig. And we sent him, we were the only band that submitted an instrumental. It's a guitar riff, you know. Wow. And lo and behold, he's like, yeah, that one stands apart, you know? And so when we got that, we didn't realize at the time what kind of like a cultural icon Hank Hill would become. But it did, you know, it kind of became a big thing. So
sure. I mean, you never know with those things, but you know.
Yeah, it was a luck.
Yeah. Are you still in touch with the other guys in Refreshments? And has there ever been any talk of possibly reuniting even just for a one-off show or anything like that?
This year is the 30th anniversary of Fizzy Fuzzy Big and Buzzy, which was our first major label album. Yeah. And
I'd love to hear that.
30 years ago. It's hard to believe, but I think what we're going to do is get together and do a 30th anniversary concert. I'm not sure when we're going to do that yet, but it should be happening sometime in May. Wow, so yeah, I still talk to those guys. Yeah, not too far down the road here.
Let me just on record, Brian, say that if you would like to come back on the show around that time to announce it with some of your
would
band
love that.
members or
Of
even by
course.
yourself, let me know, okay? Let Jamie know.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, definitely. Well, I'd be proud and honored to do that and make some noise.
It's all about here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll let you wrap it up for tonight, Jamie. Thanks again for inviting Brian on the show.
Oh yeah, I knew he'd be a good guest. I've known Brian, and we got to know each other outside of music too, just hanging out in Mishawaka.
Yeah. I've
You know.
always been a big fan. He's a incredibly talented guy, and I've always encouraged him to keep pushing with it because he's got an incredible voice and he writes great songs. So yeah, it's been my pleasure. It's great to see you, Jamie. It's been too long, man.
Oh yeah, dude, I miss you, man.
I
Thank you.
miss you too, brother.
Well, thanks again, Brian. Thanks, Jamie. We made some serious noise on Make Some Noise tonight. This has been episode number 9. And thanks again. We'll be seeing you guys in the real near future. And take care.
All right, man.
Take care, guys.
All right.